What's up, Armor Down? Hope you had a nice, mindful Memorial Day. Hope it was meaningful for you. I hope you were able to interact with Foundation and honor some names and feel that sense of participation with just a fundamental American value. It was a great experience for me. It was the first time I was not in control of Mindful Memorial Day. I helped the virtual. And I got to go to Arlington on Sunday and help out then. But mostly it was Noah Stewart. He's the new boss, and he was great. He was fantastic. He was a boss. He looked like a boss. He acted like a boss. He ran the show with grace and poise, and it was a little bit tricky. It was a little bit working with Arlington is a little bit tricky, and interacting around honoring the fallen is a little bit tricky because these are sensitive times. I mean, not like globally, but I'm just saying inside of Arlington during Memorial Day, it's a sensitive environment. And it's always our number one priority. It's always been our number one priority to be sensitive to the nature of what we're doing. And everything went smooth and went fine. Um, but anyway, now we're back, just in the normal practice of things. And I was reminded yesterday that there's always going to be times when the kind of the flow or the goodwill or the good vibes or whatever else um, runs into disruption, runs into challenge. In the other video, we're talking about the 16th stanza of the Art of Peace, which talks about a mountain stream splashing over the rocks, right? So here's this pure flow, right? The stanzas: do not fail to learn from the pure voice of an ever flowing mountain stream splashing over rocks. So this flow, this sense of the present moment as is, having this flowing concept of continuing the moment after moment after moment after moment, but also this element of the rocks, right? So the flow crashing into the rocks, splashing into the rocks, the pure flow that's all kind of unified and everything's going in the right direction, just all of a sudden just runs into the rocks. Just whoosh. So that's what happened to me yesterday. I reached a threshold of activity, and it was interesting. My All of my systems just kind of were going doom 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 doom, and then everything crashed. It was such a fascinating thing because I always seem to get surprised and it happens. But each time it happens, I'm able to not add to it. That's the key piece. So um, I just I just reached the kind of the threshold. It was like, the straw that broke the camel's back. That last little bit that just kind of boom tipped the scales. That's where I was. Um, just tired. I had Memorial Day on Monday, and then I had another event on Tuesday, yesterday. And when I came home, I was kind of thinking, oh, I should have done more. I should have worked harder. It's a common theme. Like, this is part of who I am. So, not enough. You didn't do enough. You didn't. This could have been this, and this could have been better, and da 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 da. And I kind of, I quelled that a little bit, and then get home, and the first thing, my children are demanding this, and I've got to take care of this, and got to get this scheduled, and then it's time to make dinner, and one of the kids wants spaghetti, the other one wants sausage. We start making the sausage. The one loses it because she wants spaghetti, and it just tilted over. And so I went into this hole. I've referred to it as the PTSD hole for as long as I can remember. It's just this place where everything starts to become kind of collapsed, kind of pigeonholed. And my body, so I'll start by describing my body. My body starts to take on this tightness. My shoulders come up. My stomach starts to tense. My throat starts to tense. My jaw gets tight. So this whole body experience starts starts to show up. And then my mind starts shooting out for blame. Whose fault is this? So there's the self, like, oh, I didn't do enough. I should have done this, should have done that. It's my wife. Oh, if she was this way or she was that way, or why doesn't she do this or why doesn't she do that? It's my kids' fault. Why aren't my kids this? Why aren't my kids that? So my mind, it's almost like in response to my body, or my body is responding to my mind. It's the chicken or the egg. But that's why I really like the phrase that I learned the other day: whole body mental health. Doesn't matter which comes first. All that matters is that I'm experiencing a full on kind of armored up moment where my mind is searching for justification for why what I'm feeling is appropriate, and I'm kind of watching it. So I'm the awareness inside this storm. Is it, the flow of the stream crashing into the rocks? I'm in an eddy behind the rock. I'm stuck behind the rock. I'm not in the flow. I'm kind of crashing into the rock over and over and over again. And so I'm in it. My daughter's like, why are you sad? My wife's staying totally away from me. And when I get into this place, she gets angry because she doesn't know why I'm there. And I'm all of a sudden there, and I'm not talking. I'm not explaining this to anybody. So there's just a bunch of tension, right? Now, I haven't added to it yet. I haven't exploded. I wanted to. I almost exploded at my daughter, Liliana, for getting upset about the spaghetti. And so finally, I end up making butter noodles for one and grilling a sausage for the other, and then steaming some vegetables because Alina had stuff to do. And everyone's eating, right? So we're sitting down eating. And so I talk about whole body mental health to my kids all the time. And I start talking to them about how I'm feeling. And then I start talking to Liana. I'm like, we start talking about these feelings are like a guest in your house, right? So if the guest comes into your house and starts breaking things, you don't say, oh, I'm the guest breaking things. You are the awareness of the guest breaking things. What do you do about it? Do you go and fight the guest? Do you go and, all this other kind of stuff? So we started talking about this relationship as your being is a house. You are the owner of the house. And then these guests come in. And what do you do when the guests are disruptive? And so how do you protect? How do you develop skills to navigate these guests that come in? So we were talking about that, and I said to him, and now just talking to you about this makes me feel better. So that was great. And then after dinner, we went outside. I went outside and I just practiced shaking. Like I just shook for about 7 minutes, and it was gone. It all faded away. And now it's just a memory, but Lord have mercy. When it's on, it's on. And when I'm in it, I'm in it. And the thing that really, what really struck me, and then we'll get to the practice, is how much my stomach was involved. I really felt my stomach. I was very much aware of how hard it was to breathe. I was very much aware of my breath and how it was during the experience. But what really kind of stuck out was, man, my mind is finding every conceivable thing to blame. It's like, it's got to be out here. This, and this. And I watched it just shoot out with all these different like explanations for why I'm justified to feel this way. And I thought that was really fascinating. And again, it surprises me when it happens. But yeah, so be mindful of the fact that mindfulness isn't about creating this perfect world where everything is non-judgmentally present, aware, and da. It's a world full of all of it. And so when you're aware, that doesn't mean everything's going to be fine. It just means that you're aware. And now that you're aware, can you be aware inside of a storm? Can you be aware when the flow crashes into a rock and you're kind of eddying around in it and stuck in it? Can you be aware then and still stay present, still recognize that it's a guest? It's a guest that's come in. It's not necessarily a wanted guest, but it's a guest that's in there. And what do you do about it? So that's just, it's just a reminder. It's just and also just to tell you, maybe as your teacher, please know that my life isn't sunshine and daisies 99% of the time. It's sunshine and daisies, a lot. It's a lot, and it's no longer hell. Um, the times it was hell in the past. Oh, I just had a memory of one. That's brutal, but it becomes hell if you're not aware. And that's the thing. It didn't. It These dark moments, these times have the potential to become darker, but because you're practiced, because you're present, you don't feed it. And then if you know what to do, and if you know how to try to do different things to see what works, chances are you can let it come in and out in under an hour. So that's great. I mean, back in the old days, this is weeks, right? I remember the last time that was really, really, really bad was about 3 years ago, and it's about 8 hours. Last night, it's about an hour. So keep practicing. All right, keep practicing. All right, let's practice. Take a little sip of coffee here. Senses. So you're going to reach out with your senses. Think of that reaching out, that active engagement of let me come into the present moment. Let me reach out. Let me really assess what's around me based on my senses. Now get close, study your skin. Closer still, study smell. Start to turn inward, taste. Let's go bell two. All right, let's get movement. Little movement. So just movement in the legs, movement in the feet, movement in the hips. So if you're envisioning sending signals, send signals down so that all around your bones of your legs, all the bones of the legs, all the muscles, all the stuff in the legs are getting little signals, little boom, 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 boom. Turn it up, get those legs going. Now, add hips, get the hips moving. Try to keep the legs and the hips moving. It's actually kind of challenging to keep everything going. You're sending a lot of signals all the way through the body and you're creating movement. It's not anything formatic. It's just on. Just let's go. Now, core. So you try to keep legs, pelvis, core. Other parts of the body will start to move, but it's kind of hard. Again, it's kind of hard to keep everything going. It's like, okay, I get my legs going, I get my hips going. Oh, but wait, I turn this down, turn this up, turn this down. Try to keep it all going. Now move up through the spine, shoulder blades, right? See if you can get those shoulders going. So you've got legs going, hips going, shoulders going. Now, what you want to be thinking is the spine moving. Now get to the top of the head. So now it's legs, hips, core, heart space, throat, top of the head, all moving. 30 more seconds. Keep it going, keep it moving. Active, active, active. Shoulders, arms, elbows, and come to stillness. Now, the body's going to have a residual kind of movement still in it. Let that fade away. And be inside ground, pelvis, core, heart space, throat, top of the head. Feel your body. Check your skin. You might feel a little bit of heat buildup. Man, that felt good. All right, let's move into bell 3. So you got the inner world kind of shooken up a little bit. Contrast between the inner world and stillness. Now, bell 3. Explore the inner world with your breath. So first, just take your breath in, see where it goes. Just see where it goes. At some point, you'll come to the end of your inhale where you can't inhale anymore. Study the edges. So I've got an edge. This feels like right side belly, expansion, right side belly. And then I'm going to, I feel some tightness in the throat right there, top of the breath. And then I'm just going to exhale that. I'm going to feel that edge fall away. So I realized that during that breath, I was breathing with my neck and my shoulders. So that's where my breath went there. So now I'm going to try to just notice that. And next full inhale, I'm going to try to leave the upper head, chest, throat area out of the inhale. So I'm really going to focus on the belly. Much less activation in the throat on that inhale. And then exhale, let that go. So now the only movement, the only engagement during breath is down, really down. So I'm going to really focus on that. I'm going to focus on the belly breath. Okay. Now the nice edge, exhale slow. Now the nice edge is down in my diaphragm. So the edge is no longer the edge of my throat, neck, shoulders. The edge is the pull of the diaphragm. So the diaphragm is what's expanding, not muscles in throat and neck. So I'm going to hit that about 5 times and just really reinforce not just the breath itself, which is nice and calming, parasympathetic activation, all that kind of stuff, but the skill set of noticing and directing. I'm on fourth breath, and I'm now starting finally to feel the lower back. It's released enough to start to expand too during the breath. Last one. It's just so interesting how it goes back and forth. The opposite of what we just did, the opposite of the awareness is what I described earlier. The opposite of the breath opening, things getting soft, is things closing and things getting harder and tighter. It all just feeds itself. So now we've fed ourselves into fourth bell. Now I'm going to use the hand mudra. I'm going to put my hands in front of my heart. And I'm just going to thank the practice. Thank you to all the wise teachers who've brought the practice to the public. Thank you all of my teachers for helping me understand this practice. Thank you for all the people that have practiced with me. Thankful for all the people who made this possible. Karen Soltis, who introduced me to mindfulness, the VA in DC. Thank you to those teachers. Thank you for the Vietnam and Korean War vets that welcomed me to the practice. Thank you for Mindful Memorial Day. Thank you that this practice has become central in my life. Thank you that I'm able to bring this practice to others and that I'm able to bring it to my own family. And most of all, thank you that it helps me open my own heart. Two breaths to finish. Breath is easy now. All right. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Later on, we're down.